Good morning. Welcome everybody to another one. Thank you for tapping in. If you just tapped in, please hit the like button. Also share. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps in the platform. For those of you that's already subscribed, thank you so much for your support, your kind words of encouragement, and just, believing in me. And I hope you believe in yourself just as much as you believe in me. But thank you so much for all the support and kind words. Okay, folks, this won't be a long one. I'm trying my best not to make this a long one, but we on part 7 of my prison journey. We on part 7. Now I got transferred to Lehigh County Prison. I get there, I'm in the reception room, where they process you and all that. Then they put you on another unit. You got to kind of stay there for about a week, until you get medically cleared, give you a TB shot and things like that. And then once you get cleared, you can go to general population. So I'm there. I made it through with what I brought with me, the mother load. For those of you that don't know what the mother load is a large amount of what I'm not supposed to have. I'm going to just say that. But I made it in. I made it in there with it. I was a little nervous. I'm not going to tell you how I did it. It's confidential information. I don't want to blow up the spot for those that's still doing their thing, even though I'm not in that lifestyle no more. But nonetheless, I'm not here to be a detective or anything like that. So I made it through with it. So now I know when I go to population, I'm going to be straight for a while. At least I thought I was. But, stayed there for a week in the quarantine unit, made it up to general population unit. Now I'm there, and I find out that, you can purchase TVs on the commissary. So I went ahead, brought me one. Nice little colored TV, bunch of channels, shaking and baking, making my money. Lehigh County Prison is a lot different from where I just came from. There's no contact visits there, right? One of the things about having contact, being able to get contact visits, is that you're able to bring things in, to kind of help you get through the bit a little bit, the hard times, those times are just biting, So I'm here now, there's no contact visits. So what I have, once it's gone, unless I make a way. So I'm there, I'm dealing with the unknown, family. One thing about being in prison, you just want to be home. You miss everything about being home, everything about being away from your loved ones, your children, if you have children. You miss all of that. So you just want to be home. But when you're dealing with the unknown, not knowing how long before you actually get home, can be a mental strain on any, sane individual that's doing time, whether you're male or female. It's tough. So that was tough on me, and at this time I lost my girl, so I'm dealing with that. Then I'm dealing with another avalanche, with the feds picking my case up, and I just want to say this, man, to the men out there, because not all men, but a lot of men like to play games as though they don't struggle with maybe they girl, they wife, baby mothers, whatever you want to call it, walking away from them. They act as though that don't bother them. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to break the secret. That's a lie. That's only a smokescreen and a front for them to pretend in front of their men, in front of their homies, in front of the guys. You know what I mean? But once they lay down at night, that joint smack them right in their face, and they got to face reality. It's like, damn, this is the person, especially if this is a person that you really, really loved, it's going to sting. And a lot of times, I done seen guys lose their minds in there. I done seen guys stop eating. I'm talking about good stuff. They serving, they could be serving fried chicken. And, we know fried chicken in there is like, that's a gourmet meal. So to give that away, asking nothing in return, you going through something to just give away that type of stuff. Giving away your commissary, in your cell all day, don't want to come out. That's a mental strain that a lot of men don't like to admit to. But let me be the one to take the torch and tell you, that's painful, man. Especially when it's somebody you really love. So I'm dealing with that, the emotions of that. And then I'm dealing with now, like, I'm dealing with the feds now. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. Ain't no telling how long I'm going to be in there. I know my man already told me, based on my record, I have a mandatory minimum of 15 years, which means that I can't get under 15 years in prison. Whew, that's a lot to take at one time. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to my family, because I haven't even, break the news to them yet about what I'm possibly facing. I haven't spoke to my federal lawyer yet, so I really don't know, the validity of what my man told me. Is that, is that a cap, what he's saying, meaning that he's lying, or is this some truth to it where possibly I can, be facing that. So anyway, I believe it was the following day, I went to my first arraignment with the feds. It's really a bail hearing to see if they're gonna, grant you bail. So I went there. They had me fill out some papers, based on my income, to see if I qualify to get bail, or, or not. Also, if I'm qualified to, get an attorney appointed to me and stuff like that. Just a bunch of paperwork that, the lawyer had me filling out. So I fill it out, went in front of the judge, and, it's not surprising enough, but the judge denied the bail, based on what the government said. The government said that he's a flight risk, his record is blah, 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 blah. And the judge agreed and denied me bail. So after the hearing, my lawyer, they called me in another room, and, I spoke to my lawyer for about a little over an hour. And, he told me, he said, look, I haven't got the discovery yet, so I don't know all the particulars and things like that. So once I get the discovery, it shouldn't take long for me to get there. I'll come back, visit you, and then we'll discuss the case, see what we can do moving forward, see what we can't do, and, et cetera, et cetera. So I asked him, I said, look, let me ask you something in your experience, because I'm pretty sure you got experience with federal cases. He said, yes, I do. I said, because it was told to me that I'm facing a mandatory minimum of 15 years. And he said, okay, that's possible. You could be facing that. I don't want to jump the gun and say yes without actually reading everything first. All I have right now is an indictment, right? That's all I have. I need discovery because I need to get your criminal history. I need, things like that to be able to answer your question adequately. So just hang tight, and I'll be back in contact with you. I know it's a little tough, but just hang tight, and we gonna figure it out. So I said, okay, no problem, man. So, went back to my living quarters, and once again, I'm dealing with the unknown, family. I'm dealing with, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm hoping everything works out for the best. So I'm back, in my housing unit, Lehigh County Prison. I'm on the phone, I'm speaking to another female, which is just a friend, and I know you're gonna say, well, how can any man have a female as a friend? Well, I'm here to tell you that's possible, because this is a person that's a dear, friend to me, a friend that helped me get through a lot of the emotional things I was dealing with in prison, at that particular time. And, I thank her so much for it, so I'm calling her, and, I'm explaining to her what's going on. She's giving me all encouragement that, listen, man, just take your time, relax, put everything in God's hand, and, you know, we're going to take it one day at a time. So I'm like, all right, bet. But I'm to be honest, I'm not feeling good, you know, because it's like, I only been home 8 months, folks. 8 months. And here it is, I'm back in prison, not knowing when I'm going to see the streets again. And that's tough. That's something tough to deal with mentally and emotionally. That's not an easy, you know, slice of the pie to take. And, you know, I didn't know how I was going to deal with it. But nonetheless, I just took it one day at a time. And, you know, I just kept fighting and fighting. So anyway, time goes on, and, you know, my lawyer, about 2 weeks later, my lawyer came to see me. He called me down. He said, Marcano, you got an attorney visit downstairs. You kind of go downstairs on the first floor, I believe it is, and they got an area where you know, it's a contact visit with your lawyer, and you speak to your lawyer and stuff. So we gonna save that, you know, for part 8. You know, we not gonna do too much in this part. We're gonna save that for part 8, because I want to take my time with these series, because this is very dear to me. You know, a lot of parts is going to be very hard for me and difficult for me emotionally. And I'm just asking you to be patient with me. And please, subscribe to the channel. I mean, I'm not forcing you, but I mean, if you listening to this and you enjoying what you hear, subscribe to the channel. And also share with your friends, you know, hey, man, take a look at this. You know, because there may be something in here that I'm saying that may help them and get them to subscribe, right? So, you know, I'm out of here. I see you in the next part of the series. Please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna leave as I always do. Remember, your potential for greatness is unlimited.